Hello, everyone, and welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. I'm your host, Corey, joined by my co-host, Corey.
Hello, everybody.
Corey. Episode 16.
The number keeps going up, huh? In more ways than one.
We're getting up there. Starting to feel pretty comfortable doing this, too. It's a lot more comfortable.
Watch me at week 1 and watch me at week 16 or maybe 15. There's a big difference. I've always said you're a natural at this, so you've always been good at this.
Let's get right into the action. Friday night. We're gonna recap the weekends, how we always start the Tuesday episode, everybody. So Friday night, I was in Miramichi. You were in Bucktouche. It was the first time that we split up to cover 2 games. Really split up for the full game.
Yeah. I was in Bucktouche for Bucktouche beating Tracadie. Some highlights from that. Jeremy Hanna, 1 goal, 2 points. Justin Leblanc. He had 1 goal in that game. Beautiful snipe. Just an absolute beautiful goal of the game. Just amazing. The new captain of the JCs, Michael Leblanc. He got the empty net goal. It was a 3-1 win for Bucktouche. I don't know if I mentioned that. Lucien Carl Saunier had the sole goal for Tracadie. Corey, there's an incident that happened at this game.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into that?
So it's hard to discuss, but I've been watching Corey Schmira play for a long time. He's a vet in this league, and I'm not a fan of the third man into a fight stuff or grabbing someone and starting to throw punches when they're not ready. I struggle with that stuff. So if you haven't seen the video, you can check it out online. I can deal with the stuff that he did, but in my opinion, when a ref steps in, the punches stop getting thrown. I think those guys aren't signed up to be getting thrown around and punched like that. So, these are just refs. They're just there to do their job, and they do a good job at it most nights. They try their best. Some refs, got some rough reffing sometimes. My God, that LC game last week against Spring Hill comes to mind. But yeah, it was hard to see him pull back and elbow that ref in the head 4 or 5 times, and he got suspended for 2 games for it.
Yeah, I was at that game. I don't want to sound mean, but you do something like that for an almost empty building. Like, what was the point, really? I know we'll probably get flack for that. It is what it is. It's one time. If he keeps doing that, I'm sure there will be more consequences.
Yeah.
We'll let sleeping dogs lie, I guess.
Corey Schmira was a Hawk last year. And we don't hide the fact that we're Hawks fans. We were huge Hawks fans last year. This year we're kind of enjoying a lot of senior hockey, so we cheer for everybody.
It's hard not to.
It's tough. But man, and I love Corey Schmira when he was a Hawk. He was one of my favorite guys to watch out there. He had some great tilts last year with Sullivan Cullen, a few other guys. He had some really good fights. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. I don't think that's the nature of what senior hockey is. I think we've evolved past that. I think fighting has a place in this game, a good place in this game. I think Corey Schmira is a great fighter. I've heard that he's a phenomenal guy. But, yeah, that's just a tough one for me. I hate seeing that ref get beat like that. I hate seeing – I don't know. I don't know the whole story, so I'll refrain from giving the full, But I hope that doesn't happen again because it was really hard to watch.
Yeah.
You mentioned the crowds in Bucktouche.
Yeah.
The crowds in Bucktouche have been rough.
Very rough. And I feel bad for the players in Bucktouche, the teams coming into Bucktouche. At the beginning of the season, you interviewed Jeanette.
Yep.
And you mentioned, I think Bucktouche has the fan base to support two teams. The other team being the Steamers, the West Kent Steamers.
Sure.
I'm not sure if they can support two teams if they can't draw crowds, because last year you'd go to Bucktouche, you'd get your regulars. And I know a lot of these people. A lot of these regulars, some are coworkers of mine, some are people that I know that know my parents or whatever, and they had to make a choice. They had to make a choice between the JCs and the Steamers, and the Steamer is the brand new shiny toy. It's rough to see that for the JCs because they're almost like an original six team in the NHL. You
Yeah.
know, I knew who the JCs were before I knew who the BSHL was. For the Hawks, before any other team, I was hearing about the JCs and I had no clue who they played for.
Yeah.
You know, it's rough. Um, Once a few more wins, like they dominated Tracadie. Tracadie is a fantastic team,
Yeah.
and they just dominated them. Um, Once they get a few more wins, once the playoffs get a little closer and all that, once we get to January, I am hoping the crowds get better because right now for Bucktouche, it's almost not fair for the
Yeah.
staff, for the team. I feel it's really not fair. And you can't force people to go. If they have to make a choice, they've made their choice. But God, the JCs are such a staple of Bucktouche.
Yeah. And they have one of the best goalies in the league. I mean, Collette, I think, played
Absolutely.
really well Friday from what I can hear.
He did. Some of those saves were. It could have easily been a 7-1 game. It was 3-1. One was an empty netter, by the way.
Yeah.
But some of these stops were just unbelievable. This guy could steal any game at any given night.
So Tracadie gets a loss on Friday in Bucktouche.
They do.
What's the next?
Bucktouche gets their second win. Next on the list, Dalhousie beat Shippigan in overtime. Jesco Bernard and Pascal Varcourt not on the list of points.
Wow.
They were left off.
Were they playing?
I saw their names there and a bunch of zeros.
I have a hard time believing it. I think the league probably messed up
Yeah.
and they just didn't make the trip.
I don't know. Probably. The Bezos, they had a few points. Billy Bezo got 2 assists, and Tommy Bezo got 1 assist. The OT goal was won by Vincent Charret.
What else we have on Friday night?
Friday night, we had the game that you were at, the LC Puck Duck Hawks. They beat the Miramichi Northmen 6-4. I actually got home in time to catch the third period, so I did see the end of this. Mackenzie Brown, 2 goals in that game. Danik Crate, 1 goal, 2 points. Robbie Graham, 1 goal, 2 point. Miramichi's Olivier Gendron, 1 goal, 2 points. And our good friend Chris Keating, 1 goal, 2 points. It seemed like it was a hell of a game. That could have went either way. I believe 2 goals were empty netters, right?
Yeah, 2 goals were empty netters. So Elsie scored an empty netter, and then Miramichi came back and scored. I think Avery Brendan scored that goal, and then Elsie came back and scored another empty netter. A great game, just a very fun game. The crowd was into it. The Northmen came out so strong. They looked phenomenal early on. And you mentioned Olivier Gendron. Gendron, maybe the best game that I've seen him play. It just seemed like everywhere I looked, Gendron was skating. He was throwing a hit. He was making a pass. He was getting a pass, making good defensive plays. A couple times I was like, what the hell? I checked the number because it's not – he's a great player. He's always a great player. But he really had an exceptional game on Friday night.
Yeah.
And that was a fantastic game. Thought we might have saw Foreign and Lewis go at one point, but that didn't end up happening. The crowd did not like that didn't end up happening. They wanted that real bad. It was a fun game. There was a lot of Hawks fans that made the trip. They were sitting around us and they were having a great time. The Northmen named their mascot on Friday night.
They certainly did.
Norm,
right?
Norm the Lumberjack. And Cheryl had predicted Norman, so she feels like she should get some points because she got that one right. I'm like, no dice. You said Norman. It's definitely not the same thing. And she's like, it is the same thing. I'm like, is Cher and Cheryl the same thing? She didn't answer. So the answer is no. She doesn't get a point. Norm is not Norman. I mean, come on.
I'm going to stay out of the sibling rivalry, I
You
guess.
probably should. I'm telling you, I'm right on this one. I'm going to stick to it. But yeah, no, it was a great game. I always love getting to the Civic. We've got a lot of people that listen to this from Miramichi and just some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. So,
Yeah.
Shout out to Miramichi. We're looking forward to getting back out there. Maybe this Friday, who knows?
Maybe.
Saturday, what games did we have going on?
We have Dalhousie beating Miramichi 6-3. Pascal Valcourt, here he is, really adding on to his point streak. 3 assists on the night. He is at 22 points. Still by far the points leader right now. Francis Thibault, 2 goals, 3 points, also from Dalhousie. Robert Pelletier, 1 goal, 3 points. Miramichi, they had a goal from Avery Brennan, Chris Keating, and Brendan Milson. Those were the 3 goals for Miramichi. Valcourt right now has an 8-point lead in the standing. Like the closest one on a 2-way tie is Robbie Graham and Ryan Mockler at 14 points. And right underneath them, Jesco Bernard and Mackenzie Brown and Danik Crate with 13 points. But Pascal Valcourt at 22 points, phenomenal athlete.
Yeah, it's a great start to the season for him. Was that the only game on Saturday night?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I thought so. So man, good job Dalhousie getting the win, getting back on track. We're gonna be heading to Dalhousie sometime in the next few weeks, and I can't wait for it, man. I'm so excited. That has been just a fun team. Oh, they're in Elsie this we're gonna see them on Sunday as well, because they're the team that's in the Kent North. Yeah, okay, we'll get to that later. Go ahead and move on to Sunday.
Sunday, the River Valley Lumberjacks, or I'm going to call them the River Valley Kryptonite, to the Elsie Puck Duck Hawks. A 7-5 win over the Hawks. Peter Traynor, this guy on fire right now. 2 goals, 4 points. Brett McLean, 2 goals. River Valley's David Brewer, 1 goal, 2 points. River Valley's Adam Crow, 1 goal, 2 points. LC's Marc-Andre Arsenault, 1 goal, 2 points. LC's Tyler Brown with a 4-assist game. That was pretty good. Ooh. And Danik Crate of LC with 2 assists.
Yeah, Marc-Andre Arsenault had a phenomenal game for LC.
He did.
He looked really good. So you mentioned it. You kind of mentioned the Lumberjacks being the kryptonite for the Hawks. It's insane. Like, we talked about it earlier this season, like, that's the team that Elsie really struggled with last year. It's kind of not funny anymore, though. They just, I don't know if it's their style of play.
I don't know.
They play really well against the Hawks, man. They're a fun team.
They played the Hawks twice in the regular season. That's it. They're not meeting in the regular season again. They have swept the Hawks in the regular season.
Unreal. God.
Yeah. Good for them, though. They're a fantastic team. They deserve the win.
And the Hawks didn't look bad. The Hawks did not look bad. That was maybe the best game I've seen all year.
Like, I'd agree with that. It was a fantastic game.
Oh, man. And the crowd was into it. Mm-hmm. And we saw a phenomenal fight. Benji Curtis and Trey Lewis went.
Trey Lewis. Yeah, that was a good one. The visor flying.
Oh, man. That was hell of a fight. Hats off to those two guys just giving her.
And shout out to the equipment manager.
Oh, Calvin for River Valley? Yeah, Calvin. Calvin's a cool dude. Nice. Yeah, Calvin's a nice guy. Yeah, River Valley's just, special to me. I enjoy watching them. Love the Hawks. So for me, you're not going to get much better than good old River Valley and Hawks game. I can't wait to see River Valley again. Maybe on Friday in Bucktouche. I don't know. Rarely am I as torn as I will be this Friday. But anyway, was there another game on Sunday?
There was a rematch from Friday. Tracadie this time beat Bactouche 7-3. David Marcotte, 1 goal, 4 points. Alex Saunier, Savoie, sorry about that. My brain's all over the place. From Tracadie, 2 goals, 3 points. Pierre-Luc Wallet, 2 goals. And Nicolas Richard from Tracadie as well, 2 goals. JC's, I'm going to shout out this guy, Justin Leblanc. He's the guy that had the snipe on Friday.
Yep.
1 goal, 2 points in this one, so a 3-point weekend for him. Easily, I think, the best player other than Cadet on the JCs this weekend, really.
Yeah. Yeah, you're really impressed with that snipe on Friday night, eh?
I really was. I had a bird's eye view of it.
Yeah.
And I just followed that puck right in, so
yeah. Right
I'm a fan of Justin Leblanc.
Perfect. That was the end of the weekend. Good weekend of hockey in the BSHL. What were our predictions and how did we make out?
We went 3-3 each.
Okay.
For different teams. Let me just flip to my page right here so that I can see where it is. Next one. So right here. So we both had Dalhousie taking Shippigan. Dalhousie 1 point each.
Mm-hmm.
We both had Tracadie beating Bactouche. Bactouche won, so 1-1 there. I had Miramichi beating the Hawks. You had the Hawks winning. So for Friday, you went 2-1. I went 1-2.
So I won.
You won on Friday.
I won.
On Saturday, we both had Dalhousie winning. So right there, it's 3 points for you and 2 for me, I believe.
Still winning. Got it.
Still winning. You had the JCs versus Tracadie, but Tracadie won. I had Tracadie, so now we're basically tied.
No.
And we both had the Hawks, and they lost. So 3-3. The record as of right now: Corey Vautour, moi, 13-8. Corey Robichaud, 11-10.
Respectable, but a little upsetting. Yeah. I mean, I should have predicted that the Lumberjacks would beat the Hawks. I know better.
We thought we were smart.
God, I hope the Hawks don't play the Lumberjacks in the first round, eh?
I think that playoff hockey and regular season hockey is a whole different beast.
Yep.
So I think it would be very competitive.
Yeah.
But I think they're one of those teams that could give the biggest threat to the Hawks, because the Hawks are still like. Do you want to get into the standings?
Sure.
Or do you want to wait? Okay. So in first place, they have not moved. The Dalhousie Marauders, 7-2 record, 14 points. Number 2, the LC Puck Duck Hawks. They move up 1, 5-3, 10 points. Tracadie Alpine, they are number 3. They moved up 1 point. 5-2 record, 10 points. Spring Hill Coal Miner, they go down, but they did not play. Yeah. So they're down 3 spots. 4-3-1 record for 9 points. Miramichi, they stay the same. The Miramichi Northmen are 4-3 with 8 points. A little surprising there, but still plenty of hockey to go. Yep. The next 3 teams have not moved, I believe, all season. The River Valley Lumberjacks, they are at 500 now, 3-3, 6 points. The Bactouche JCs, they are 2-5 for 4 points. And the poor Shippigan Marchand, 0-6-2 for 2 points. They're still searching for that win.
Yeah, they've been really close a couple times. I loved the Marchand when I saw them live, so hoping to see them again soon. Another week closer to the playoffs.
It is.
It's been a great season so far. Maybe the best start to a season I've seen in a long time. Just really good hockey.
Yeah. Before we go,
yes, sir.
Would you like to have your player of the week?
My player of the week? Well, what was the game of the weekend? Let's start there.
Oh, game of the weekend. I have to give it to the Hawks and River Valley.
Um, Hawks River Valley or uh, Dalhousie and Shippigan on Friday.
Yeah, that went to OT. Miramichi and the Hawks was really. I only saw the third period, but apparently it was a fantastic game.
Yeah, it was a great game. There's a lot of good hockey this weekend. I'm
Yeah.
going to agree with you, though. Shout out to all the teams that had some really great games this weekend. I think that Hawks Lumberjacks game like yesterday was, one of the best games I've seen. Maybe the best game I've seen this year. So
So who would you have as your player of the week?
I don't have an answer for that one. Who do you have?
Peter Trainer.
Yeah,
4-point game on Sunday night. 2 goals, 2 assists. He was fantastic.
yeah. Peter's such a talented player, man. It's he's a real big asset for the Lumberjacks.
He
So it's
really
been
is.
fun watching him play for the Jacks. Yeah, that can't go wrong. What about your Bucktouche buddy there, LeBlanc? He had a great weekend.
He had a good weekend. 3-point game in 2 games. He had Trainer had 4 points in 1 game though.
I get that. Yeah.
So, I saw both guys live.
Yep.
If I can have a 1A and 1B, would be LeBlanc and Trainer, but unfortunately we can only have one. And I got to go with Trainer on this one. Both guys impressed me. Cadet impressed me in that win against Tracadie. Tyler Brown, 4 assist night for him. That was 4 points there too. But Peter Trainer, when I decide who's my player of the week, it's what player comes to mind immediately. And Peter Trainer was that guy.
That's fair. It was a good weekend, Corey. Think this is the end of another episode.
Another good one.
Another good one. Good times. Thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you soon.
Take care.
Hello and welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. I'm here with my co-host Corey, and we have a special guest today. From the God, I always want to mess up the name. The River Valley Lumberjacks. I don't know why. It's even worse now. I've always wanted to call the Northmen the Lumberjacks, but now they actually have a lumberjack as a mascot, and I'm screwed now. Like, I am forever screwed. The River Valley Lumberjacks, Tyson Donovan.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for having me on here.
Man, it's such a pleasure. Corey, you can go right ahead and get it started.
Go right ahead. All right. River Valley had a pretty big rivalry with Miramichi, would you say?
I would say yes. I would
Yeah.
say it's probably our biggest rivalry.
Yeah.
Just because we're mixed, right? We got some guys that used to play in Miramichi. We got fans that like that old school senior rivalry kind of thing. So it's my favorite games to play for sure.
You played with Miramichi in the mid 2010s, right?
Yeah, I actually started. I finished midget AAA and went straight to senior hockey at 18
Okay.
with the Phantoms. Same as Chris Keating, he was on there. Yeah.
Could you talk to us a little bit about how you prepare for those games against Miramichi? Because they're fantastic games.
Yeah, well, last year when I first started, I didn't start playing until about this time, and the first game was Miramichi at the Civic Center, packed house. Felt, kind of weird for a guy that grew up kind of in Miramichi playing for them. It was weird being on the away side walking out, but that crowd gets you going, man. I don't know about anything else. You get psyched up for that game, and they're a tough team that like grinds you and works you real hard. So you're going to be into it, I guess. So that's the best way to get pumped up for it.
Yeah.
They're so much fun to watch. We were at that first game in Doketown, and man, you guys came out so hard in that game. That was a great time.
Yeah, we laughed in the dressing room because we kind of just run out of gas. Everyone came out flying and wanted to go, and then as the game wore on, everyone's legs were just burning.
I mean, it was like 3 deep behind the glass. That Prospect Place was packed. I don't know if I've seen it that crowded. Let's get to another rivalry for you guys. You guys seem to have the Hawks number. Man, so a fact is, you guys are the only team that beat the Hawks last year at home. You're the only team that beat the Hawks last year twice in the regular season, and you've already beaten the Hawks twice this season. You're like kryptonite for the Elspachtok Hawks, and it's a running joke here, but it's also kind of not a joke. Like, man, what is it with you guys? Your style of play, just it's hard for Elsie.
Yeah, like I give Elsie credit. They're a really good team, and
Yeah,
they got a potent forward. They got guys that can score goals. And with Crate on defense, he's one of the best defensemen I think I ever played against. But I don't know. We just come out and try to wear them down, I guess, and come at them physical and whatever it's doing. And our goaltenders have been hot lately, so it's that always helps, I guess.
man, yeah. Josh Simpson was fantastic. A couple games ago, we were in River Valley watching him, and he like, well, who was that against, Corey? I can't even remember.
Oh, wasn't it? Wasn't it against the Hawks?
It was against the
I
Hawks.
think
He
it was
stood on
against
his
the Hawks.
head. He stood on his
Yeah.
head. That was insane, man. One of the best goaltending performances. Last night's game was maybe the best game I've seen live this year.
Same here.
We were behind the net. We kind of sit in random spots, and my parents actually went to yesterday's game. It was their first time ever at a senior game because Caleb Cook's actually my cousin, right? So they were like, "Oh, we got to get out to a senior game and watch Caleb." And man, like they were like, this is the most amazing hockey live that they've seen in years. And I was like, it's not always this good. This game was exceptionally good.
Yeah, like I said, disappointingly, I didn't get to play in the game, but I'd like to actually hear your guys' opinion on it. What you thought?
I thought we talked about this last night after the game. We were sitting having a chat, and it's like, I don't know if it's the physical style that you guys start off like. You guys start physical, and I don't know if you saw that John Hardy hit on Elijah Francis. Man, John Hardy just rolled over. And we're by nature, we're Hawks fans. Like, I'm just full discretion. We're from Rishabakto and St. Louis for Corey. So we're Hawks fans, but we've fallen in love with the league. And especially doing this, interviewing guys from every team, it's hard not to enjoy just seeing all you guys. Everybody's super kind. So we just go and enjoy the games now, kind of a weird way. But man, yeah, you guys just came out hitting hard. Some big goalie saves. The goalie looked a little bit shaky the start of the third. I don't even know who you guys had in net last night. It wasn't Simpson, right?
No, I believe it was Jason Ryu.
Jason Ryu.
R-I-O-U-X.
Yeah.
Yep.
He looked good, and he looked shaky at some points, but it wasn't really his fault. The Hawks just kind of, there's a lot of penalties called. You see that Benji Curtis fight with Trey Lewis?
Yeah.
I've got like 5 angles of that fight because everybody was
Yeah.
recording it. So I'm probably going to throw together some compilation because I want to get a really good shot of when the visor popped off because that was pretty fun.
That was like, well, it's like I got 10 messages after the game and they sent that fight. It was a good fight, man. Benji, we all know he's tough on our part. Everyone knows Trey's tough. And for the most part, he doesn't really want to fight. You know what I mean? And it's fair enough. But when he has to fight, he's tough. So I was proud of Benji on our side that he stood up to him and showed that, I can go too.
Absolutely, man. It was props to Benji Curtis, props to Trey Lewis for dropping him, and maybe one of the best fights I've seen this year live. And God, can't wait to see it again. Hopefully, you guys don't play again though, right? You don't play the Hawks again this season.
No,
I don't want you
weird.
guys playing the Hawks in the playoffs. I'm be straight with you right now, Tyson. That's not good for the Hawks. And if nothing else, it's really close to my house, so I want to save some gas money. So if you guys could not play the Hawks in the first round, that would be great.
It's a weird way, right? How the schedule was this year with us. I think we played Miramichi 6 times, and everyone else just a home and home.
Yeah. So the way that it worked out is like the North teams play each other a little bit, the South teams play each other a little bit, and then you and Miramichi just play the crap out of each other.
A ton, yeah.
Which is fine. I like it. By the 6th game,
I love it. I love that. Yeah.
Brandon Kenny's gonna like rip someone's face off by game 6, and I'm gonna be there for it.
I was kind of hoping last year, the way the season was ending, that we were going to get a chance to play Miramichi in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because it would just be a wild atmosphere. And actually, I think at the time they were wanting to do every game at the Civic Center, like our home game and their home game there. just because there's so many fans wanting to watch it, and
I can
Prospect
see
Place can
that.
only hold 700 or 800. So that's what we were hoping for, but it didn't turn out that way. But I'm still hoping this winter that
Prospect
we can
Place
get
can
a.
hold 700 or 800. Are you guys putting them in the rafters? What? Good Lord.
I heard a little birdie say they wouldn't turn anyone away, but
I'm going to be sitting on the bench next to you. You put 700 people in Prospect Place. I'll open the door for Caleb. My God. Corey, go ahead. You got the next one.
Speaking of Prospect Place, it's a smaller ring. It's not very big, but it's super cold too. But it's such a great atmosphere there. We've been there a few times. What do you think makes Prospect Place so exciting, so electrifying?
I think just the fact that there was no hockey there for a long time, and they tried it. I got the chance to play junior B there as an overage,
Really?
and they really enjoyed it. And then their rink, I don't know if it collapsed or they had problems with it, that they had to build a new rink, and it was so long without like a competitive hockey team there that the community just loves it. So when we got the team back last year, it kind of was a rough start, but once the team started doing all right and come around, the fans just supported us really well, and we're kind of close enough to Miramichi that their fans come up and watch our games, and our fans travel down on Friday nights if we're not playing and watch Miramichi. So it worked out pretty good so far.
Yeah, I've seen some fans from River Valley and Miramichi. I've seen some players from River Valley and Miramichi sometimes. It's it's fun. It's great to see guys go back and forth and support each other. It's a good. Have you had a burger at Prospect Place?
I have. We kind of have a little deal with the team that after the game they'll give us a half off on a meal. So you can pre-order it, and sometimes I pre-order a burger and fries. And actually, one time they threw in a couple chicken strips.
Get
They're
lost.
pretty good too.
Yes, they are. I've got to get this deal. Who do I talk to? We'll talk after this interview. We'll get some names, and man, that burger is phenomenal. Talking about
real
that,
good.
what's your favorite food to eat if you're at a hockey game?
Well, I went through stages. As a kid, I was a poutine guy, in and out. Now, if I'm at a rink, it's a burger. I'm kind of the Dave Portnoy. I like to taste test.
So you grew out of
around.
poutines, is what you're telling me. You're telling me you grew out of poutines. All right. Tyson Donovan is too mature for the poutine now. I respect that.
No, it's more of a I'm allergic to milk kind of a deal, or gluten.
Okay. Yep, that'll do it. That'll do it.
So I'm still a poutine man at heart.
I get you.
Tyson, tell me, do you have any superstitions or pregame rituals?
No, not anymore. I think maybe when I was younger, I did. Now it's kind of like I live closer here in Miramichi, so even the home games in Doketown's about a 45-minute drive for me. So it's more or less just cruising up, relaxing, listening to some music.
What kind of music do you like listening to?
I like everything.
Yeah?
I could be classic rock, newer country, older country, rap, depending on the day. My playlist is all different.
That was my question, though. If you're going into one of those Miramichi games, what are you listening to?
Oh, I'm listening to some pump-up jams. My favorite's Rip Street Bop by the Ramones. That gets me going.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Classic
you got a big game this week against Friday. You got a big game this week against Friday. I'm not editing that out. That happens, boys. You got a big game Friday against Bucktouche. That was your playoff round one. It was a weird playoffs last year. So that was technically the first round, but there was like a mini round before. Anyway, you guys played Bucktouche, and that was a phenomenal series. You guys came out hard in Bucktouche game one, and they ended up taking the series, but most of those games were 1-goal games. Could have gone either way. Are the boys pretty pumped to get back to Bucktouche this Friday?
Yeah, it's kind of like Miramichi. Like the Bucktouche rink itself is one of the best around. The ice is good for a big rink, and we were kind of we were a lot disappointed in winning the first game the way we did last year, and then kind of losing 4 straight. And that shows you, like, senior hockey's any given night, any team can win. And if you get Bucktooth's goaltender got hot and we peppered him and we just couldn't score. There's no way in the world.
Colette's an insane
And
goalie.
So, like we said, it's kind of, we don't want that to happen this year. Every team is so good and so close that you kind of just want that everyone to click at the right time and be able to have a little bit of a run in the playoffs.
The games that I've seen, I think I've seen 3 or 4 River Valley games this year so far. It looks like you guys are clicking early. Like the wins might not be coming out every night, but it looks like the plays develop smoothly. Everybody looks like they're having fun out there. It looks like a good group of guys together.
Yeah. I was debating on not playing this year just because I'm getting older, got kids, and then Kenny Robinson kind of showed me the roster, and I looked and I said, man, this is a chance kind of to, you look at the roster and see they added like Peter Trainer, who had 100 points in the queue.
Yeah.
And we added some defense, like even our 4th, 5th, 6th defensemen are now, like, because we always had Harding, Gallant, and Chauncey, and then I just think our defense is really good, and then Simpson's playing unreal, and we're depth up front right straight to the 4th. Like, our 4th line usually plays a regular shift. So I'm excited. I think if everything clicked, we could make a real good run at it, but the league's so strong that I can't predict what's going to take place.
Yeah, I mean, everybody makes the playoffs, so who knows? It's going to be fun to watch. The hockey's already been phenomenal this year, man. It's been such good hockey, so fun to watch. We were talking a little bit earlier. Some people, I've started to ask this question, and a lot of the fans are like, it's so interesting to find out that this person is a teacher. What do you do for a living, Tyson?
I work for the payroll center in Miramichi.
And then you just like smash bodies into the boards on the weekend for fun.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had a 7 or 8 year hiatus from hockey.
Yep.
And I thought it was it, and then Kenny and the boys talked me into coming out of retirement, and I had to shed about 30 pounds last year. So it's funny because we have our morning meetings at work, and they'll zoom in the camera, ask if I have a black eye Monday morning or just funny stuff. So it's a good place to work because I get to work from home.
Yeah.
So like, if you have a game Miramichi on Friday night, you can relax in your office all day, like you can mentally prepare for it, I guess.
Well, I'm glad you came back, man. It's been fun watching you play, and wish you good luck this season. I hope you have a great year. Hope the Lumberjacks have a great year. I'm sure I'll get out to a few more games. Don't pepper cook too hard in those warm-ups, eh? Take it easy on him. Jesus.
He's a great guy. Man, our team loves him right to death. He embodies the true team player, shows up in and out, and he'll let you shoot 1,000,000 pucks at him if you need to. So
yeah, Caleb's
and also
go ahead.
No, I just wanted to thank you guys for doing what you guys are doing. I'm a podcast guy because I work from home. I listen to a ton, and it makes everything more interesting. You get to see and get to know some of the guys you're playing against, and it brings a lot more anticipation, I guess, to the game. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that, man. It's really, it started as a little hobby. It's taken off, and we're having a blast. So hopefully we'll get you back on here in a couple months, Tyson. We'll be able to talk again. But this has truly been a pleasure. So thank you so much for your time.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
You too.